Here is every single mob in Minecraft standing next to each other, but these three are unavailable in survival. This is obviously changing in the amounts of mayhem drop, but that raises the question, why do they even exist? And when will these be coming to the base game too? Is it related to this? And why did Minecraft remove rubies and the quiver, but still keep this? Well, let's explore what Minecraft calls unused features today, where instead of just coming up with an idea, sometimes an idea gets fully coded, modeled, animated, and added to the game before Mojang says, we don't want to add that anymore. And so how could they add these to the base game, and more importantly, why do they exist to begin with? Well, let's get right into it by explaining that, because hello, I'm Cat. Welcome back to another Minecraft game design video, and let's start with the first chapter. What's the deal with removed Minecraft mobs? Not every video game idea survives production, and in many cases this is for good reason. End portals, when they were originally added, looked like this, with eye offenders being used to turn these portal frame blocks into solid ones. Now, this obviously is interesting and has some great fantasy elements, but I think that it's also immediately clear to everyone that this is far worse and less obvious in design than the current end portal frame is, which clearly exists and then asks you to put an eye offender in there. The same is true for many old mobs, with some of the original old designs looking like this. Ooh, yeah, I do not like looking at this. This is like some weird fever dream, but like most removed features, these were entirely removed from the game files, meaning there is no Rana, Beast Boy, or Black Steve that exists in the game code anywhere whatsoever. This is the standard for most video games. When an idea is considered bad enough to remove, you remove all of the code associated with it, or in some cases, simply overwriting the old feature, which is what happened with the end portal frame when it moved from this to this, and the Never generation when it moved from this to this. And so what's interesting is this was the usual way to do things, but recently some removed items and mobs have been removed from survival and not made accessible in creative, but stay in the game files. Famously, the first major example was rubies. When they were replaced by emeralds, the rubies stayed in the game textures, spawning many a theory, and the same was true for zombie and skeleton horses, although they have both come into the game, and that brings us into why it is that Minecraft would remove features, but not really do so. There are three big theories. The first is to make it accessible for modders. You know, we might not have a use for a skeleton horse in our game, but you might. We might not have a use for rubies in our game, but you might, and so that's why Nether portal reactors still exist on the Pocket Edition, for example. The second theory is that actually, like many games, Minecraft is removing these features in the best way they can, and it doesn't make sense to completely nuke them from the code, and many games, even very old ones, will have all sorts of development artifacts sitting in there. Maybe Mojang is just following standard game practice. Or the third theory, that is, of course, of most interest to people, is that maybe they sit there because they want them to come into the game later, and they sit there ready to be added. Rather than removing a feature when it becomes clear that that has to be done, why not instead disable it so that if it ever comes time to re-enable it, it's much easier for that future developer? That is the fun theory, but it obviously raises the next big question, which is why does Minecraft even remove features to begin with? If they're fully functional as it is, like the skeleton and zombie horse were, why remove them to begin with? Making a good piece of art sometimes means making less of something that is higher quality, and this is a value that Minecraft has at least tried to embody multiple times, removing features that existed in the game but that just weren't quite necessarily up to fit with the rest of it. So there are three easy reasons that you can go into. The first is that they are simply unfinished. Any unfinished feature is one that would drag down the rest of the game, because although Minecraft ultimately looks like a work in progress, by the time something releases in the main game, that's not snapshots and betas, but the actual end-user versions, they want to make sure it's at least mostly finished. This is in contrast to other games, where it's now the standard to release your buggy mess into the wild and make it better later, but Minecraft tries not to do this, and to what extent, I guess you could argue. I mean, we're still missing calcite stairs and a type of wood that is green after all of these years, and we know these things will be added eventually, but the fun thing about Minecraft is they could argue it's not quite unfinished, it's just that they don't want to add those features to the game until there's a good context around them, which is why this first category exists. The second category is performance. You see, Minecraft removes lots of features from the game because it's not performant with the rest of it, and the most interesting example of this is from the Java edition. The custom world type was fully removed. There is no longer an ability to customize your worlds from the launcher, and this was removed as part of the new world generation. When they changed everything up, it made a lot of old features not work quite so well, and so they decided to remove them altogether. The third reason is the most interesting, yet the most ill-defined by Mojang, because it's simply a mob being the wrong fit for Minecraft at the time. The zombie and skeleton horses are prime examples of this, because when the horse update was added all the way back in 2013, but when they decided to do that, they actually had two brand new horse models for a skeleton and a zombie horse, and they just figured these weren't a fit for Minecraft in its current state, and so despite being fully finished mobs, they were hidden behind commands and spawn eggs, and so as a result, there were no zombie or skeleton horses. This changed in 1.9 when they came up with a fun random event to have skeleton horses spawn, and it changed in the Mounts of Mayhem drop. I'm not going to say 1.20, 1.130, but it changed in that update as well, because when they were adding a zombie Nautilus, another mount that would be zombified, they figured, you know what, if we have a zombie version of the underwater mount, why not a zombie version of the regular mounts, adding the spearman to him to give him even more context. But that is a perfect example of how a feature that was a wrong fit for Minecraft later became the right fit for Minecraft. And so, although Mojang don't talk very often about the Illusioner, the same case could be made there, where when the combat update was being worked on, they had this idea for an Illusioner, a brand new type of illager, but at the time they figured that even though he's incredibly interesting with ranged and magic attacks, it just wasn't the right fit for the time. The perfect time, in my opinion, to add it would have been the Village and Pillage update, when illagers and pillagers came to the game more broadly, and if not then perhaps the 1.21 update, where they were adding all sorts of new hostile mobs exclusive to the Trial Chambers, but in both cases they decided that it still would be the wrong fit for Minecraft, or at least the other features would be a better fit, and so the Illusioner has sat behind for that reason. But if there is a whole library of features that Minecraft could add at any time if they felt it was right, I think it's worth going into exactly what those features are before we loop back round to how Minecraft could add those removed mobs, because it's not just mobs, there are all sorts of other... If you like weird disabled things, allow me to introduce you to this page of the Minecraft wiki. It is the list of unused features, in this case for the Bedrock edition, and there are so many interesting things that a lot of legwork was put into creating. You know, don't say Mojang are lazy when you look at the list of things that exist in the game that you've just never actually seen, and one great example, my favourite that I've placed down right here, is lava cauldrons. So lava cauldrons existed on Bedrock long before they officially ever existed, and because of that, you can actually fill them to custom levels, meaning that you can have, for example, a lava level 4 or lava level 3 cauldron, despite the fact that you can only ever empty it in its entirety. This is fun enough if you ask me, but more fun is the fact that, oh yeah, there's lots of technical blocks that exist here too. The side profile of a cake with a candle, allow, deny, the lit furnace, which is extra fun if you ask me. But also you've got the weird technical blocks that allow things like, for example, as you can see right here, redstone dust and the comparator side views to be added, but it gets way more fun than just these, because as you'll see right here, there are the question mark blocks, which exist to allow Minecraft to deal with blocks that it doesn't know what they should be. If you're converting new versions to old versions, these will exist a lot. I even have one in my Let's Play world, weirdly enough, for weird bug reasons. But then we also have old blocks that were removed, like the Never Reactor or the old Crying Obsidian. Oh, I think it's the Lit Obsidian is what it's actually called. These are very, very fun, but it gets even crazier than this, because when they updated the Stonecutter, an old MCPE feature, into the new Stonecutter, which does something entirely different, they kept the name and changed the model, but then kept the old one in the files fully accessible. This is very, very fun if you ask me, and isn't this a delight to see in Minecraft? At any point in time, if Minecraft found a good reason to have a stone and a blade, and have it be separate to the stonecutter, they could easily just add it back to the game. This is a world download for what is called the Illegal Block Museum, by the way, and I'm using this to show you the fact that there are lots of interesting things that just exist fully addable to what is a world download. There's no add-ons or no mods here, but instead you get all sorts of interesting things as a result. So, okay, let me show you one of my favorite items here. First of all, this is a banner that is showing the wrong text on it, but you can see if we go a little deeper into this, that there are banners that have hundreds of different layers on them. Although in this case it all results in nothing. You can see that we've got buttons that are permanently pressed down. Minecraft has lots of things that are fully enablable just by using the right command at the right time, and I think that's kind of fun. I wonder what these books are actually. Oh, they're just books. Oh, it's a bookshelf that comes pre-ready with books in it. That's crazy. I should also make some small reference before we leave this section to the fact that there are lots of Education Edition features which were made for the version of Minecraft to be used in schools that do currently just exist in Minecraft right now. So if you've ever wanted a block that says H, That's right, all the Harrys in my audience are excited by that, or the Barrys in my audience, or the Harrys and the Berries and the Learys. All of you can know that your names could be represented terribly in Minecraft because there are lots of education-specific features. Wait, what is this one? I thought I knew all of these features, but this is... I guess these are also Education Edition features for the... Oh yeah, it's for the Compound Creator, the Element Constructor, the Material Reducer. If Minecraft ever found a good reason for these to exist in the base game, they could add them without any additional work outside of game design, which is fun, right? But speaking of game design, that's where our last and final part of this video really wants to go deep, because one of the fun things I like to talk about with game design in Minecraft is how exactly Minecraft could compellingly and actually usefully create all of these additional features, and so let's go into that camp right now. So now we've arrived into the final part of this video, which is, in my opinion, the most fun, because how could Minecraft add these removed features? Obviously, we went through a lot of these that do exist and could be really fun in their own way, but the ones that immediately spring to mind are always going to be the removed mobs, and over the last decade, we've seen them add the skeleton horse, we've seen them add the zombie horse, and so what comes for the giant and what comes for the illusioner? Let's talk about it. Well, I think that the giant is the hardest idea to add to Minecraft because it is such a big one. It's ultimately just a giant zombie that's even had its AI removed, and so if you were going to have a giant zombie, you could argue that this is just as little of a new mob as having a giant magma or a giant phantom, both of which you can make inside of Minecraft's game code too, and so does the giant zombie need to exist? Well, maybe not, but this could be a great opportunity for Minecraft to really experiment more with difficulty. It used to be that easy, normal, and hard were really differentiated, but in some ways, easy is harder than hard is easy, and that really mixes things up. Sure, there's hardcore, but what if there was a super hardcore? You could use the bigger mobs, especially the giant, to really remind you that you are in a hostile world, and sometimes it wants to kill you. This is what a lot of people like about RLCraft, something Jeb even acknowledged is one of the more popular add-ons right now, and so what if there were more realistic and or challenging style features in Minecraft? It's something I think the game should add. I think that difficulty, especially optional difficulty, is something that Minecraft would really thrive with, but the Illusioner is an interesting case because if they wanted to add that to the game, then it would be really easy to fit it into lots of slots. Well, there's the raid, there's the Woodland Mansion, and of course there's the Trial Chamber, and the Illusioner could easily split fit into either one of these three. You could have it be a rare mob in Trial Chambers, maybe part of those encounters that are still sitting unused also. Whole thing, it's actually fully usable on Java, just not on Bedrock. Don't ask me why. But wouldn't it be cool if the encounters led to some cool treasure that you had to go through an Illusioner to get? Fun idea number one. Fun idea number two, rare chance inside the Woodland Mansions. And fun idea number three, the easiest way to do it would just be to have one of the late game raid mobs slowly transition out from having witches, which are fairly predictable, to having illusioners, which are precisely not. This would be really fun if you ask me, and I think there's only one explanation about why you can't do this, and I think it kind of ties into Minecraft's, if there's three reasons that Minecraft doesn't add a feature, the illusioner, unlike the giant, is not unfinished, there's no performance reason, potentially like the giant, and arguably it's a perfect fit for Minecraft, except for one thing. So, like the skeleton horse and the zombie horse, which were added by having the right context to get them, that being skeleton traps and that being zombie spearmen in the dark, I think the right context behind getting a hostile mob doesn't make sense, but there needs to be a right context behind killing one. If this is going to be a witch, but with magic and ranged attacks instead, there needs to be some reason to be excited for it. I think that drops are a surprisingly important thing to players, as proven by the fact that every mob since the rabbit doesn't drop meat, and people want goat meat because that's traditional in a lot of cultures. Or what about, Mojang can make a value judgment about turtle soup, but why is it that turtle soup is any more ethical than rabbit soup? Not any particularly good reason, right? So I should be able to kill the turtle and get meat is what a substantial part of the community says, and so that sort of person is not going to like if Minecraft add, if admittedly a weird looking but fully fleshed out mob that doesn't have some form of reason to kill it. The Illusioner, so the Illusioner is in the same category as the Evoker, and when you kill that, you get yourself a Totem of Undying. When you kill the, when you kill Mr. Johnny over here, the Vindicator, you'll end up getting an Iron Axe and some Emeralds too, and this kind of ties in. What could you add to the Illusioner from the current set that makes sense? I don't think anything. If it's a bow, then it's a worse skeleton. If it's an enchanted bow, then it's still just potentially a skeleton. I think that the only reason the Illusioner isn't added is because the context isn't perfect. It's just a near perfect fit for the raid, mansion, or trial chamber, and also because there's no unique drop for it, and ultimately that comes back to the quality point. The Illusioner could be added tomorrow, but there needs to be a good explanation about why. Rather than just diluting the mob pool for the sake of it, there needs to be some unique loot, and Mojang, over the 10-ish years since adding it, have either decided that they will never come up with it, or that they just haven't quite had the right idea yet. And so, if you're watching, my fun idea would be a potion of duplication that allows you to have two of you working at the same time. Maybe you could even both have pickaxes and both mine blocks, but there are lots of fun ideas about how you could use the Illusioner's ability to make a fun drop, but then that creates a new bit of work, and instead of doing that, why not have a Nautilus, which is far more fun instead? And ultimately, that is why every single one of these removed features has some argument for not adding it. It feels janky, it feels a little weird, and it needs just a bit of polish and a bit of fresh game design, and if you're going with fresh game design anyway, why not make the game design that you're passionate about, be it copper stairs, in any form of weatheredness, be it the ability to ride a Nautilus, or be it any of the other things we've seen Minecraft add over the years. I think that there is a lot of interesting, like decisions that they've made, but you can't deny that they've clearly believed in making them, and I think that's interesting. Or could you? Well, Mojang certainly have changed their mind on a lot of things, actively saying they would never do things and then adding them later, but we'll have to go into that in the next game design with Toycat video. I hope you all enjoyed this one though. If you did, please do like it and let me know. Share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make Minecraft videos every single day on this channel, and if you enjoyed this one, you might enjoy those ones too. Anyway, thank you. See you. Spooky time.